exciting, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm your host, Adam Gardner from the band Guster, also co-founder and co-director of the environmental nonprofit Reverb. Normally, we're out on tour with bands like Billie Eilish and Dave Matthews Band, Maroon 5, Tame Impala, and a bunch of others. But of course, with live music being on pause, we're finding other ways of making good fun and doing good environmental work. This is fun and has some environmental pieces to it. This show is all about folks cooking their favorite sustainable recipes. Normally we have musicians or big celebrities, but this time we're actually working with Reverb staffers, and we're going to change it up a little bit. This is quick 5-minute recipes. So this is going to be simple, easy, awesome recipes that are sustainable and short, really fast ones. In fact, we're going to make this a little bit of a challenge where I'm even going to do a countdown clock. So there's a little bit of a game show component to this where each Reverb staffer has to cook their favorite 5-minute recipe within 5 minutes. And if not, I don't know what happens, but that's the goal. So I don't think there's anything more I need to say right now other than let's get this going. Like I said, this is a little wacky. The first Reverb employee is going to be Reverb founder and co-director Lauren Sullivan, who is also my wife, and we live in the same house, obviously. So here we are in our kitchen. Hi, Lauren.
Hello, Adam. How are you?
Oh, so good to see you all of a sudden.
I feel like I'm on The Price is Right. I should be like running and screaming.
Yeah. So I'm also the cameraman. So we're working this out a little bit. So your 5-minute recipe is?
It is supremely creamy hummus. It is delicious. It is from this magical book called Modern Jewish Cooking. Leah Koenig, God bless her, she's an amazing human. All of these recipes are delicious. So a lot of them vegetarian. Some of them not, but a lot of them vegetarian and delicious.
And this, so obviously this is a recipe, a vegetarian recipe. Mm-hmm. You've been vegetarian for a long time. Like, what? Can you just talk a little bit about how you came to that and how long you've been doing it?
Yeah. So I think in the 80s, basically when it became kind of uncool and sketchy to eat lots of red meat, like my family was doing. We kind of weaned ourselves off of red meat, and like the final frontier for me was chicken. And then I just happened to read portions of a book called The Diet for a New America, and learned about the kind of industrial chicken industry and read about what happened to the chickens, and I just could not get behind it. I was already struggling with like the sinew and color of chicken when it's raw. It's just not for me. So no judgment, but not for me.
I definitely ended up having to be the one that was, you're like, you handle the chicken tonight. You deal with cooking. It's like, okay.
It's not. It's just, yes. And we have a son who's also vegetarian and is repulsed by raw chicken as well.
Well, I made the mistake. He asked, I was like, tell them the truth. They're children. They should know what's happening, and we shouldn't be, hiding the truth from them. And he asked what was in sausage, and I told him everything. And that was the beginning.
Nobody wants to know what's in the sausage.
There's literally an expression, right? Related to that. So yeah, not such a good idea.
I read the book, was inspired by it. I said, let me just try not eating chicken. And I tried it, and I've never gone back. I even went to like a farm and hung out with a professor of mine who's like a back to the lander. They slaughtered the chickens that were very well loved and maintained in a lovely, organic, free-range way. And watching that process, I was like, and again, not for me. So I feel pretty confident and comfortable with my decision. And it's good for the planet. Yay!
Yay! And this is one of my favorite recipes. It's so yummy. We make it all the time. Like, we cannot get enough of this stuff. And it's so, I think when people think about, you have to make your own hummus, you have to like soak the chickpeas. Obviously, it might be better if you do so, but you don't have to, right? Like, we're using, can I just grab this right here?
Yeah, it's very basic.
We're using some canned organic garbanzo beans, otherwise known as chickpeas.
Yes, canned garbanzo beans. This is the kind of the critical ingredient, tahini. So you do need to find that in your grocery store. It's usually somewhere in there. It's not too hard to find, but that's kind of the only quirky thing. Other than that, it's garlic, lemon, olive oil, salt, and then you just have at it. And really what it's all about is this baby right here, food processor, or you can use a blender, and you just blend the hell out of it. That's it. So awesome. Do we start?
Well, all right. Yeah. So you're the first contestant or whatever we're doing here this evening.
I want to eat this.
Yeah. I know. I'm excited to eat it too. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I'm looking at my notes, and I don't know why, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to start the timer. You've got 5 minutes to make this delicious, supremely creamy vegetarian hummus. Yeah. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Get set.
You totally can do this.
Go. 5 minutes. What's going to happen? Tell us what's happening.
So what's happening is I'm adding a half a cup of this very goopy, kind of fun tahini. It's really sesame seed. It's a pureed sesame seed, and it's delicious. So you add your tahini. Get rid of that.
It's a non-GMO vegan tahini.
After that, you add, this is actually only a quarter cup, you add a third cup of olive oil, and then just because I really need a third cup, third cup of olive oil, good enough, never too much of that. Then you chop a clove of garlic, so get a nice fresh bulb of garlic. This is from our neighbor's community garden, which is kind of cool. Throw that chopped up, just roughly chopped, doesn't have to be too fine. You don't need a press or anything like that. Throw the garlic in there. Throw in 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Have a lovely lemon right here. And then this thing right here is like a godsend. And Chris, I know my colleague is going to make another recipe. I use this for everything. Margaritas, hummus, you name it, all the time.
Lemon or lime squeezer.
Magic. So we'll throw in our 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then it is a little salty. So I don't know if anybody has any sodium issues, but we just throw in a couple teaspoons of kosher salt and toss that in. So here's the key part.
3 minutes and 37 seconds.
And you puree it until it's slick and smooth, which is just kind of fun. So now you puree. That's it.
And you puree it for how long?
Too loud.
I know, so we're walking away from it a little bit. I think you can still hear us, I hope. Okay, so how long are we pureeing for?
I don't know, like a minute.
Okay.
A nice full minute. Yeah.
Can you tell me about Aquafaba?
Yes. Aquafaba is my new favorite word, and it is the juice that is inside the chickpea cans. When you drain your chickpeas, in this recipe, you maintain the chickpea juice on the side because you're going to use it later to kind of dilute the hummus and get it to the right texture that you want. But it is called Aquafaba, chickpea juice, and it's just, I'm going to name like my dog that. I don't know.
Wait, we are getting a dog.
We're going to name her
Aquafaba?
It's so cute. It's like Aquafina, but not as cool because she's amazing. So.
All right.
Okay, that's probably good. Let's
is this
take a look.
slick looking?
It's
That looks pretty slick.
pretty slick.
All right, we can probably do a slicker, but you're up against the clock.
Okay, so after that, I'm going to sit down so you can see me. You are going to add the chickpeas. So I've got this giant sieve of chickpeas here. Dumping 2 cans in. 2
minutes and 20.
Oh,
2 minutes and 17
almighty. It's getting tight. Okay, chickpeas are in. And then what am I doing? Continue processing using a spatula to scrape it down. That's what you're doing. So you just put this puppy on. And I'm just going to let the chickpeas kind of blend down a bit. And then the fun part that you do, with the motor running, what I'm going to do is slowly drizzle a quarter cup. There's this delicious Aquafaba. Cheers. I'm going to drizzle this in while watching. You can hear the change in sound as it gobbles up the Aquafaba. So we'll do that for a while. And we'll do that again.
And that's kind of a slow drizzle, right? You kind of work it in slowly.
Yeah. And now we walk away.
Now we walk away from the noise.
And this is the magic of the recipe.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Where do you want to go?
Dancing.
This is our house, everybody. Hello.
Hi, everyone. The magic of this recipe is that you just let it ride. You really can't puree it too much, honestly.
Well, I think that's the thing that I was surprised when I was making it. That you blend it for way longer than I've ever blended anything.
It gets uncomfortable. You're like to the point of discomfort where you're like
is this thing going to blow out and we're going to burn the motor on this
But it's really just aerating the hummus and making it smooth and creamy. And so Leah
Let's go this way
Koenig.
away from all the fat. There we go.
Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Leah Koenig, the maestro that she is, says that you should actually then take this creamy blended hummus and mash it through a sieve to get every little piece out. But we don't even do that. We're not doing that. Too much high maintenance. It's
40
very
seconds.
creamy. Should we go check it?
I don't know. You tell me. How much more do you have to do?
Because I want to win this.
All right, we're going back.
I want to win it.
You want to win? What do you win? We haven't even described what that is.
So, hey, now if you check this out.
Oh, you want to get in there?
It's actually, look at
that.
that.
Looks lovely.
So all of a sudden it's like whipped cream. Look at that magic. Oh, yes. I think it's kind of ready.
I do too.
Okay. So then I should sit down again.
All right.
And then we're going to just goop some of this into this bowl here. And it makes quite a bit. So you think you're
Oh, I don't think you're going to win. 5, 4, 3, 2.
I just lost it.
Well, I don't know. Like, this is a technical question, which we, of course, did not establish the rules. You've made the hummus. Now you're just plating it. So, I don't know. I say you're good. I think it's good. What do you think? What does the internet think? Did she make it or not?
Damn it. Yeah.
Let's get a little vote going. I'm looking at the public comments right now.
You suck, Lauren.
We'll keep going because there's a bit of a delay.
Okay, so the hummus is here, and it's very creamy. It's a lot, so it's probably like 2 containers full at least. And then what we do is you do a heavy drizzle.
Also, the next band name, Aquafaba and Heavy Drizzle.
Heavy drizzle of olive oil right here. And we throw some, whoa, that was a terrible move. See, just lost, everyone.
No, that's going to be good still. Okay. So what was it? That was paprika.
That was paprika out the wrong side.
Okay, that's okay.
That's okay. We'll just move it around. The olive oil still looks good. Okay, delicious. And then you've got this gorgeous bowl of hummus with olive oil. And then Adam here has made his own bread because that's what he does during COVID.
Thanks to Tom Papa.
Has a very nice crumb, et cetera, et cetera.
You can see Tom Papa's sourdough bread recipe on reverb.org/quarantine kitchen.
And so now what we can do is try it. And so you just get in there.
I want some.
Olive oil, paprika. I don't know if y'all can see this. It's just a delicious bite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing. It's done.
Cheers.
It's hummus.
Good job,
Cheers.
Lauren.
Yay.
That is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much better than anything I've ever purchased in a store, and it's not hard. You did it in 5 minutes. That's legit. You did it.
And it's a great thing to bring to friends' houses. Hey, I'll bring an appetizer. This just crushes every time. And potlucks, whatever. It's a really friendly, easy dish.
All right. So now that we're out of the time pressure piece of this a little bit, while you're chewing and eating, I'm going to just ask you a serious question for a second.
Okay.
You founded Reverb. Like, I was there in the beginning, but you actually started it. Okay, I have a little bit. What, can you just talk a little bit? Like, this is a unique show, so let's just talk for a second about why you started Reverb, and like what was the how and why? Like, what was the impetus for it all?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me was seeing all these incredible nonprofits out there, being a part of these amazing campaigns, and trying to figure out how we could connect them and kind of build a bridge to like your everyday citizen, like not just the environmental community where we sometimes have a tendency to like breathe our own fumes and not kind of get outside of the bubble. And so for me, it was trying to build that bridge and just realize there's so many incredible people doing phenomenal work out there. How can we give them a megaphone? How can we give them a bigger voice? So that was just destroying the hummus.
I just wanted you to talk a while so I can eat all the bread and all the hummus.
Fast eater. So it was really that kind of impetus. And also, like I grew up in Maine and, we live back here, and just being around the natural world was always an incredible part of my life and just made me want to dedicate myself to that work, period. You have olive oil all over your face.
I'm good with it. It feels great.
Good for your skin. And then, Adam, of course, was lamenting the impact of touring, and there were lots of other great musicians, most namely, big shout out to the Bare Naked Ladies, Alanis Morissette, and that very first Au Naturel tour back in 2004, where they were like, yeah, we do the environment. We're activists in our own right, and let's do this. Let's try this thing out. And so, it was really that kind of coming together of two worlds and giving voice to amazing campaigns that are happening and getting folks to take action, because we're super powerful as a fan community and doing great work. And, a giant nod to all the amazing Reverb volunteers and supporters out there who have kind of been with us from the beginning and are just joining us now. So,
yeah. Thanks to all the staff, some of which are participating now. Notice the segue. Still being the host.
Music.
Interstitial music. All right. So, do you want to stay on for the other guests, or what do you want to do? We can sit here and eat hummus while we're talking.
I'll stay around for a little bit.
Great. All right. So let's bring on the next guest chef. This is a whole technical new world for us, but we're going to do it hopefully. Chris Spinato. He's our head of communications. And he is going to put together an awesome, what are you calling it? The perfect margarita, Chris?
Chris's perfect margarita.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'll get to that. But I think you and Lauren should do a hummus talk.
Hummus talk.
Yeah, I think you're onto something here. This is very heartwarming. Sitting in the kitchen, eating some hummus.
It's so good.
It'll be lovely.
We're here.
It looks great. It looks really good.
All right, so talk to us about is this something you've been working on for years that's a pretty bold statement to be like, this is a perfect margarita.
Chris's perfect margarita.
Shame on you.
No, it's not. This has been somewhat of a new endeavor, bit of a COVID quarantine kind of. A lot of people did sourdough. I went more towards the tequila route and started working on the margarita recipe. So, and just as I've gotten older, you can only drink so much beer, It's true. It's true. So anyway, yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit before I know you want to dive into your recipe. Look, so when we were watching, Chris actually this idea was conceived by Chris, and also he also is in charge of the run of shows, so he's always kind of like the one normally on the. We have a little private chat going down the side of the computer where he's like, move on to the next segment. So he's trying to do that right now, but I'm not going to let you. You can't do that right now because you're the guest.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a little more, just a few questions, and then yes, we will get into your recipe.
Much difficult. Yeah. Oh, hi, Jess.
Yeah, exactly. We do want to say hi to some folks over here.
I can't read.
I know, that's why I have my glasses on.
Sweet Lord.
So you're manager of communications. What does that mean for the folks who are watching right now? Like, what is your role at Reverb? And can you just talk a little bit about it?
Wow, really putting me on the spot as my two bosses sit there.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really. I believe in what we're doing, and we all genuinely care about the environment. And so I think it's finding ways to tell our story and find our community, build our community, because I think it's about, there's a lot of people out there that love music. There's a lot of people out there that really deeply care about the environment. And the combination of that is just magic, as we've seen over the past 16 years. So yeah, I think for me, it's about trying to just build community and get the word out about the work we're doing and all the good people. There's a lot of good people out there, and we just have to find ways to connect and do good things. And I think Reverb's really been a catalyst for that. It sounds like an infomercial.
Hold on to your seats. Ginsu knives are coming next.
Yeah, what are you trying to sell? Oh, so we failed to mention that you've actually managed to bottle Chris's perfect margarita mix. We'll be putting up a link shortly at the end of the show.
I'm glad you brought that up, Adam. Yeah.
All right, we'll let you get into the recipe. Let's talk about it.
All right, sounds good. Well, I cheated just a touch, and it's Lauren. I think it's very funny that you were talking about the lemon squeezer, because I left mine because I was making these for people. I was in somebody's backyard making these, so I left the lemon squeezer. So instead of watching me juice a lime with a fork, I decided to cheat a little bit ahead of time. So that's my only cheat.
Yeah.
So.
That can eat away at your skin after a while. That's why if you're making a lot of margaritas, you kind of need this.
You really do. You really do. So, all right, I'm ready when you are.
Oh, thank you for
yeah.
I'm already falling down.
6.5 minutes here, and
are you ready?
I am ready. All right, let's go time. So, first thing, get your shaker, and if you don't have a shaker, get a shaker. Can't stir it. You need the shaker. It's integral. Got the ice bucket here. So you fill it up with ice, pretty much, 2/3 of the way up. Simply add the juice of 1 lime, which is what I have in here. So this makes 1 drink, by the way.
Okay.
So
is that how you do it, like 1 at a time, generally?
Well, you can. I mean, like, depending on the size of your shaker, you're trying to waste time here. I get that. But depending on the size of the shaker, like I can do 2 in this little guy. If you have a bigger shaker, you could definitely do 3, 4. You can make a whole pitcher. But the shaking is really integral. We'll get to that in a moment. So we have ice. We have the lime juice in there. I missed that. What was that?
4 minutes.
I'm good.
7.
No pressure.
All right. So next thing, we're gonna add some triple sec. I like Cointreau. You can also do it with Grand Marnier, or you can do it with the cheap triple sec that's like gross. It's worth spending a little extra money because you don't add much and it makes a huge difference, much less hangover fuel. What you want to do now, this is the other thing. This is a jigger. And so you have 1.5 ounces on this side, 0.75 ounces on this side. So you're going to add 0.75 ounces.
Not enough. More.
Oh, wait, we haven't gotten to the tequila yet.
Okay.
0.75.
Liquid hangover part.
Yeah, exactly. Now the tequila. So with the tequila, you're gonna add 2. I like 2. I wouldn't do 3 because that seems really strong for a single drink. You could do 1. You could do 2. I like 2 because I like the taste of the tequila. I also like Tequila Blanco. This brand's pretty good. There's something called Espolón, which I really like, which is why I don't have it because it's gone. So we're gonna do 2 of these. 1.
And is that the same as a shot? Like if someone doesn't have a jigger, what could they use? A shot?
Well, technically a shot's 1 ounce. So this is 1.5 ounces. So this is about 3 ounces, which is a pretty hefty cocktail, but
significant.
COVID. It's 5 o'clock. So
Great.
All right. So add those in. Then you're gonna add. This is simple syrup. Simple syrup is very easy to make at home. Do not buy it. It's a total waste of money. It's 1 part sugar to 1 part water. Heat it up. Mix it until it turns into this syrup. Simply. You're gonna add 0.75, so the small side of the jigger. Add that right in.
I'm showing the people who are watching. You have about 2 minutes. Oh, my phone's off. That's not helpful.
Oh, well, it helps me. All right, so that's all in there. So now you want to put the top on. And shaking it is integral because what it does, and this is why you can't stir it, it actually breaks up the ice cubes a little bit, so it infuses some of the water. So it also makes it cold, but it really infuses a little bit of the water in there. It takes out some of the harshness of the tequila, along with other ingredients. So this is going to be loud for a moment.
That looks real.
Yeah, you look legit.
That's legit technique.
Suspenders on. All right, so what you're looking for, I don't know if you can see it, but this has gotten all frosty on the outside.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once it gets frosty, you're in a pretty good spot. So next part, take the rind of one of your juiced limes, run it around the outside. Get some salt. I like kosher salt because it's big and I like salt, and you get big chunks of salt in there. And you're just gonna take it and rub it around until you get a nice little rim of salt on there. So all around there. I'm not sure if you can see that. The other thing is they sell those like pre-made margarita salt things in plastic tubs. Another huge waste, just kosher salt.
Yeah.
All it is.
Who needs that, man?
Plastic waste too, right?
Waste, yeah.
So gonna add some ice to the glass.
35 seconds.
1 more shake. Pour it right over the top.
30 seconds.
Look at it. He's done it.
And here's the important part.
Oh.
Just a drizzle of soda right over the top.
That's
Wow.
nice.
What kind of soda are you talking about?
Just seltzer, club soda.
Mhm.
And oh, wait. How much time do I have?
You have time. 12 seconds.
Boom.
Woo! Look at that cute glass too.
Nicely done.
Cheers.
Wow, with time to spare. All right. So I don't know. We haven't really formulated the rules that much, but you clearly
beat me.
You clearly beat Lauren.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's true.
That looks delicious, by the way. That's
Nice job.
But the reason, so I wanted to get back to the reason it's the Chris's perfect margarita. So this is the way I like it. But I would say it's a really fun cocktail. You really can't screw it up that much because it's a margarita. So it's a really fun cocktail to play around with. So you can definitely, if you like more orange flavor, you can add a bit more Cointreau or triple sec. If you want it to be a little less strong, you can add a bit more soda. You can always, of course, leave the salt off. You can reduce or increase. I wouldn't recommend increasing the tequila, but
this is good. That's good.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. So, but yeah, this is the way I like it. But it's a really fun recipe to just play around with, and it looks really impressive for other people. It tastes really good, and it's super easy.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think you just crushed it, Chris Spinato, head of communications of Reverb. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, you are watching Reverb's Quarantine Kitchen. We are doing a special episode with Reverb staffers cooking or preparing. I don't know what mixing. I guess Chris just you're a mixologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
I get Applebee's and I make
Preparing their favorite 5-minute recipes. We're doing it as a challenge. So far, Lauren failed miserably and Chris did wonderfully.
Boo.
Actually, no, you did all right. I think Lauren counts too, actually. So far, we're succeeding. And if you're curious, if you missed any of this, The recipes will be online. I think there's a link on this Facebook page right now. You can also go to reverb.org/quarantine kitchen to see all the past episodes, including Tom Papa's sourdough bread, which I've been using regularly. It is fantastic. And several incredible recipes from all sorts of wonderful musicians and interesting folks. Let's bring on our next staffer. Chris, thanks so much. We'll enjoy the rest of your libation. And I look forward to making that one as soon as the show's over.
There you go. Take care.
All right, thanks, Chris. Let's bring in Paige Roth. She is in charge of volunteers and groups. She's our community outreach goddess. Hello, Paige. This is fun going into everybody's kitchens.
Hi, guys.
It's so funny that I just kind of realized as we were doing this is that we haven't seen each other in person in 5 months.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah, we've been doing this, obviously not Quarantine Kitchen, but the Zoom and the all the other ways of communicating on video chats.
Yeah, we've got classes, we've all got new stuff happening. Wait till we see each other in real life. It's gonna be wild.
IRL.
All right, so I have a bunch of questions for you, but can you just start by saying what you are making this evening?
Yes. Okay. So I'm making a summer burrata salad with peaches. It's actually from the Goop website, which I know is a little controversial. I know people have some issues with Gwyneth Paltrow and find her to be problematic, but I love her, and I actually really love the Goop recipes from that website. They're so simple and easy to follow and generally really sort of clean and healthy. And I've been really into burrata all summer, eating it with roasted tomatoes and on a baguette, basically any way possible. So I'm not going to cook. I'm just going to chop some stuff up and put it in a bowl. But I think that counts.
Definitely, of course.
Summer.
And don't worry, we haven't started the 5-minute thing yet, but we will. Before we do, though, I just want to this. Your position at Reverb is so key because all of the positions are, because there are only a handful of us. But yours in particular is interesting because you interface with all of our volunteers and all of our local and national organizations across country. I think a lot of volunteers may be watching right now. Is there anything you want to say to them? Do you miss them? You haven't been able to interface with them as much as normal while music's on pause. Do you want to just take a moment and say whatever you want to say to them?
I miss you all so much and can't wait for concerts to start again and see you all soon, and appreciate everything that you've done to support us in this time while we're on break, whether that's picking up rescued produce for our Farm to Family program, or donating for Buy a Reverb a beer, or just tuning into Quarantine Kitchen. We super appreciate the support. And I know actually a lot of people have been keeping in touch with me. So I have lots of friends around the country whose faces I may or may not have seen. So we're all together in spirit, even if we're not together at shows.
Yes.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm not worried.
Well, absolutely. So the ingredients in your dish, we're going to move on a little bit to it. Then we got lots to talk about, you and I. So I want to kind of get to it. But I do want to give a shout out to Oxfam because it kind of goes along with their whole Eat for Good program, right? So you can go to oxfamamerica.org or you can just Google Eat for Good Oxfam and see it. But it's all in season. It's made locally and sustainably. Which is kind of in line with everything that they're talking about, Eat for Good. So I just wanted to give them some love because they've been incredible partners to us. So
I hope Bob Ferguson is watching. Hi, Bob.
All right, so why don't we get into it? Well, hold on, I got to do this timer. You've been making this for a while now?
I made it last night, but I've been making lots of different iterations of this. So this recipe just inspired me, but I'll talk you through it.
Awesome.
Talk about
this is a pressure moment right now. You have 5 minutes to try a fairly new recipe for yourself.
Okay, and for me, the time space continuum, anything mathy numbers, it's a little hard, but you guys could be like, oh my god, you got 2 minutes. That would be great. Okay.
I'll give you some updates. Yeah, why don't we do this? All right. Are you ready, Paige?
I'm ready.
Get set, go.
Okay, so we're going to start with the salad base of greens, which are actually from Horsepower Farms up in Penobscot, Maine. I picked them up this weekend when I was visiting my parents at our family camp. So if you can, shop local, support your local farm. We're going to start with the base and just add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to dress the greens. Some balsamic vinaigrette for a little bit of acid in there. And I've got the always wonderful salt and pepper premix, which you can dip your fries in. Always a good idea on the greens as well. I'm going to toss that a little bit with some tongs to get that all mixed up. So we got the base for our salad. And then probably the hardest part about this whole thing is going to be cutting this beautiful peach and removing the stone. So you want to, like, I don't know, ask me questions while I do this, you can do that.
I actually want to know if you have a peach cutting strategy for like stone fruits, because I feel like I'm just like a mess at it.
No, I'm going to cut it in half and do some pulling maybe. Oh, yeah.
That's a great strategy.
Well done.
And I'm always really serious about composting. So if you can do so, you know, put your vegetable scraps in your compost. Okay, so we got the stone out, putting that in the compost, cutting the peach into sort of 3 big chunks, and then into smaller chunks. Let's see, trying to get,
There you go.
Yep.
There we see you.
better.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and placing the peaches in our mixing bowl.
We have almost 3 minutes. We're doing great, right?
We're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it.
The question is, can I start peppering you with some questions while you're doing this?
Wait, do you want me to explain what I'm doing, or?
Yeah, you should explain what you're doing.
We're gonna do some peaches in the bowl. We're gonna do, this is a new technique I just learned called chiffonade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fancy. So we've got about 5 or 6 pieces of basil that are actually from my mom's garden. So that's cool. And we're gonna chiffonade them, which I believe means we're piling them up and then we're rolling them to release the like yummy basil oil. And then chopping the basil into little pieces and adding that to the peaches.
Nice.
And we've got, again, the extra virgin olive oil on the peaches. The recipe calls for about 1/4 cup, but you do you. Salt and pepper.
Half cup.
Half cup, whatever you want to do. So we've got peaches, basil, salt and pepper, olive oil in a bowl.
Oh, it's amazing.
Mixed up with the tongs.
It's beautiful. So colorful.
It is beautiful. Lots of colors. That's how you know there's vitamins, right?
Oxfam is wondering when peach season is in Maine. It's right now.
Right now, it's happening.
It's happening.
I don't know if these particular peaches are from Maine, but I think you can get them.
Yeah, we've been walking around the neighborhood. We've been like, trying not to. Well, so far been successful not to steal our neighbors' peaches from their trees, but we're.
Oh, no way. Get out of town. Okay, so, you know, in an ideal situation, you're kind of going to let the peaches marinate, but we got 5 minutes, so we're going to do that. And then the best part, we've got the Burrata cheese, which is like a beautiful little dumpling. It's like mozzarella, but it's soft in the middle. It's so good. So if you haven't ever tried Burrata cheese, please do. Just in a little tub. It sits in kind of like water, which is cool. Yeah, and it's like really soft, so you have to be careful not to break it. And then we're going to literally just sort of tear it up and let the part of it release. And it's a little messy, but it's awesome over the greens. I'm gonna be really safe, and I'm the one eating this, so whatever.
You can do it.
We got the burrata, and then we'll pretend that the peach is marinated, you know, a little bit longer. Add those.
How long do you let the peaches marinate?
About 10 minutes, I think, is like in an ideal situation. And that's that. It's basically summer in a bowl. It's so delicious.
Wow, look at that.
That is.
Wait, are you done?
So good. That's it. What time is it?
You're like the
time to spare.
Michael Phelps of Reverb's quarantine.
Can you get super close to the camera, because that is gorgeous? Look at that.
That is stunning.
That's so good. It's amazing. You can get the perfect bite in there with the greens and the peaches, and
It's
amazing.
spectacular.
Yeah, and you can really do it with anything. I mean, I do it with tomatoes, salt, pepper, olive oil, greens, burrata, and really any kind of summer vegetable or fruit of your choice, and you're not gonna regret it.
That's,
No regrets.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Paige. Nice work. And so far, you win the challenge.
For
Do I
sure.
win?
Yeah,
Excellent.
you
Is my prize margarita?
with just 22 seconds left. Absolutely. Before we let you go, though, will you just talk a little bit about Farmer Family and the program that we're doing, especially right now as we've started this kind of COVID version of our Farmer Family program?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we have, I don't know how obvious this is, but we have a really strong volunteer program of about 5,000 people annually who volunteer with us at concerts, which is incredible. And obviously in this time of COVID, we don't have concerts to activate at. So we are looking for ways to keep our volunteers engaged and also do some good things for the environment. So we have a pilot program happening in Massachusetts outside of Boston, essentially with a farm, Hutchins Farm, and a food bank called Rosie's Place. We are asking Reverb volunteers to pick up and rescue leftover produce from Hutchins Farm in Massachusetts each Friday of the week. It's about 10 boxes of produce per week, and then they pick up the produce and then they deliver it to Rosie's Place in Boston, which is wonderful because it helps to reduce the amount of produce that gets lost or ends up in a landfill, and it also allows our folks who have food insecurities to have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, and it allows the food pantry to distribute these items to their constituency. So sort of everyone wins, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers. It's been really exciting. And we're looking into expanding the program a little bit. Should we also mention the locker project?
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about it. Well, so that's all related, but I do definitely want to talk about that before we get off Farm and Family. Yes, we are definitely expanding the program. I mean, the reality is you've been in touch with over 2,000 farmers across the country through the work we've been doing with Farm to Stage and Farm to Family, where we're working with local farms to get food to, catering at the shows, but also to support hungry folks in each market as well. And yeah, we're absolutely looking to expand that to more farms. I know we're looking at California, but also all over the country. If you're watching now, part of what we're raising funds for is the Farm and Family COVID program. We have a weekly thing that we're doing called Buy Reverb a Beer. You can go to reverb.org/beer. And basically we're asking people who would, we'd all normally be at concerts right now and spending money on beer and food at concessions. We were asking people to consider donating what they would normally spend on their beer and food at a concert and help us with our programs while we're waiting for live music to come back. So that's that. Turns out it is an infomercial. It's true.
I know. Always go back to the original pitch, I think.
But I do want to mention, I want to mention the Locker Project. And in mentioning that, I want to give a shout out to Cliff Bar, who's been a supporter of this entire Quarantine Kitchen series. And as part of that, they're giving 1,000 Cliff Bars to each guest chef's organization of choice to feed hungry families this summer. They've already committed to, I think, 7,000 bars when COVID first came out, and then an additional 7,000 bars this summer. Sorry, million. Did I say 1,000? I meant million. 14 million bars total that Cliff Bar has donated. So it's unbelievable, and we're very thankful to them. And you chose, Paige, the Locker Project. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we were so happy to, even as non-celebrity guest chefs on Quarantine Kitchen, to get to pick an organization that we wanted our 1,000 Cliff Bars to go to. So we selected the Locker Project, which is based here in Maine. It started in 2011, I believe, at the East End School, founded by a woman named Katie Wallace, who was looking to do sort of what a lot of the things that Reverb does, which is to fill a gap. And she noticed that there were a lot of students at the school who didn't have access to nutritious, consistent snack foods. So she partnered with the Good Shepherd Food Bank here in Maine as well to stock the school's nurse's office and pantry with healthy snacks for kids who might need them. And since 2011, they've really branched out and partnered with other community businesses and nonprofits to expand the program and to help solve this problem of some of the students needing healthy, nutritious snacks at school. So hopefully our Cliff Bar donation will now become part of those snacks for, end of summer and into the new school year.
Awesome. That's great.
Ranges it will be, so.
Awesome. Well, thanks to the Locker Project for the work they're doing. Thanks to Cliff Bar for supporting our work and their work.
Mm-hmm.
So Oxfam, and then we're going to let you go, but Oxfam just commented, is that the Oxfam Reverb Tame Impala bottle in the background? And if so, can you show everybody? There is a link right now in the comments where people could buy this. It supports
mine.
Yeah. Show the graphic.
But but yeah, this is amazing. This is part of our Rock and Refill program, our COVID-19 relief bottle in partnership with Tame Impala and Oxfam, and they are for sale on the Nalgene website. There's a couple of different colors. I personally have 4. I love Tame Impala.
Can you hold it really close? It looks great.
Kevin, are you watching, Kevin?
That looks awesome. Yeah, so thanks to Nalgene for supporting that. Yeah, and Oxfam and Reverb benefit from that bottle. It's a beautiful bottle. Thanks to Nalgene, and again, thanks to Oxfam for their incredible work, especially during these times. And thank you, Paige, for your delicious recipe and for the work you're doing for Reverb. We love you and appreciate you. And
I love you too.
Thanks for joining us. I'm going to move right on to the next guest chef. Paige.
Bye, Paige.
The next guest chef is Lara Seaver. She has been with us, I think, over 9 years. She's been just an incredible part of this organization. She is Reverb's Director of Projects. Hi, Lara.
Hi there. I did the awkward Zoom wave that everyone knows now.
I actually personally really like it.
Yeah, it's perfect. So, this is nice. Outside, I like it.
Al fresco dining.
I don't know. Do something to differentiate.
Why not? Why not? So what is the recipe that you are doing for us today?
So it's called a vegan ice cream. But depending on what you put in, it could even transfer to a breakfast smoothie bowl if you add some plain yogurt with it. It's very versatile, but we're going to stick with the original intent, which is a vegan ice cream in spirit.
All right. Are you vegan yourself, or you just wanted to make a vegan dish, or where are you at in the continuum of all of this?
So my official title that I've given myself, I'm like a pisky pescatarian, so mostly vegetarian. But we live in Maine, so once or twice a year, like I treat myself to a local lobster right off the dock, bought from the fishermen, or a crab right from Maine. So I'm not necessarily picking up like a fried fish sandwich, but when it's supporting a local sustainable fishery, I stretch my vegetarianism. But anytime you can eliminate, like I don't miss my kids. My first daughter was born 14 years ago and allergic to milk, and so we started with almond and oat and all of the different kind of rice milk substitutes we've been through. It's just easy enough to make those plant-based substitutes pretty often.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to ask you one question, and we're going to do the whole 5-minute challenge. We are getting towards this. You are the last guest chef of the evening. For those who are wondering how much longer we're doing this, Lara is the final contestant, or whatever we're calling our guest chefs here. But my question for you is, like, what part of live music are you most excited about when it returns? Like, what are you most looking forward to when live music comes back?
I think it's just the energy of that many people being together, loving the same thing is inexplicable. So even though when a band is normally like finishing their set with the biggest energy and all the crowd is focused on what's going on, and I'm like sweaty backstage pushing a road case of all of the village gear after wrapping up, or whatever it is, like being around that much positive energy, meeting people in the eco village, seeing the band do what they do best day after day. I am really looking forward to just having that community group feeling again, that release where everyone's focused on the same thing at once.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So true.
Definitely.
Well, now I'm really missing it. Thank you.
Sorry. It's coming. It's going to come. It was a hopeful question. It's about what are you looking forward to? All right. So I'm going to get this timer thing going. And then we're going to start Are you putting your name? I called it Lara's 5-minute vegan chocolate soft serve ice cream. Are you cool with that?
That's great. I'll credit, whatever.
This is yours. Where did you get this recipe? Is this something you came to yourself, or did you find it somewhere else? Or
So I found it online, and I hadn't made this specific one before, but it's a lot like the smoothies I make for myself that were inspired by Maine Squeeze, which I'm also missing right next to our office, an amazing local smoothie place with their compostable cups and straws and perfect recipes. So I had kind of made a copycat recipe because it was something I wanted at home once in a while. And this ice cream recipe is, again, very close. So it's just about tweaking the ingredients here and there.
Awesome.
And I will say, so are we starting?
No, we're not starting yet. We got to officially, don't jump the gun.
Although I'm also cheating.
No false starts.
You get DQ.
All right. If you're ready, I will start.
All right, I'm ready.
Ready, go.
Okay. So I also have 4 kids, and one of my mom hacks is I'm starting with spinach, which is not in the recipe, but anytime you're blending anything that is super sweet, got the cocoa, Lauren and Adam are nodding, like I'm not trying to be, I'm not into everything, but you'll literally never notice that there's spinach in there. And it's just extra greens, fresh, raw spinach that would be a little bit trickier to get everyone to sit down and eat a bowl full of. Bananas, frozen bananas. I've kind of doubled the recipe that is online because the Vitamix doesn't love a tiny little amount of things. But if you have a little like mini prep is the other choice, that'll do it, or a little food processor. With bananas, I keep a gallon Ziploc bag in my freezer that's been there for a while, and I rotate through bananas. So when we buy bananas, sometimes the kids are really hot on bananas and they all go in a day, and other times they sit there. And when you know you're about to lose them and you don't have something to bake with them, peel them and then throw them in the freezer in that bag, and then they're ready for the smoothies and that. So I sort of have this rotating supply of bananas in there. So that was about 2 bananas. This is a heaping tablespoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of peanut butter. It's unsweetened. The sweetness comes from the bananas and from the dates that I'm going to put in next. Did I just leave?
No, I realize I need to plug in my laptop. But we are listening. We're here. So keep going.
I look up and I'm like, oh, all right. 1 to 2 dates per serving. So I've got 4 in there. There might be 5 because I have a sweet tooth. And then unsweetened cocoa powder. Some heaping tablespoons of that. And again, after you make this once, it's pretty hard to mess up, but after you make it once, kind of playing with it to your taste. The first time I made it, it was very cocoa powdery and had a dark chocolate taste to it. Then I made it again, and it was much more peanut buttery banana-y. So I'm going a little bit heavier on the cocoa this time. I liked that first. It felt more decadent.
Wait, so how many did you just put in just now?
I did 4 because I'm doubling the recipe.
Okay.
It's much more of a cooking. Cooking is an art and baking is a science.
Not a science.
Cooking like by feel. So, and again, with any blender recipe, the liquid is just, you play with it a bit, but it's supposed to be 2 tablespoons of almond milk. I'm going to do 4 because I've doubled it. All right.
You know that's 4 tablespoons just by pouring. It's amazing.
My mom taught, and maybe this is just complete farce, but about a second of pouring is a tablespoon.
Huh.
And same thing with tap water if you're trying to do, and again, when it's not, so if this is too thick, I'm going to add more, and there's no harm done. It's not a kind of intricate, it's not your sourdough where you have intricate must follow steps.
All right.
I've got the Vitamix here, but because I don't want you to have to listen to this, and because a lot of it is using the tamper and just making sure everything goes there, I'll do a little bit of it, but I preset one like a professional.
Wow.
So this is the recipe. We'll do this.
Great on time, by the way. You've got plenty of time.
I talk fast when I'm excited. Sorry. All right. Well, this is going to be annoying to listen to, but let's try it for a second. Because it is pretty cool to see how frozen bananas turn into.
You can't even hear that.
Yeah.
At least we can't.
No? Okay.
No, fine.
Totally.
I mean,
I teeter towards the edge, so we'll see.
Totally
you
fine.
can do it. This is fine.
All right.
So if you don't have a tamper, can you do this in a normal blender and just kind of use a spoon or whatever as well?
But this is my second tamper because the first time I didn't think I needed the lid and I'm playing with it and and I hit the Vitamix blades, and it just shredded this really hard plastic. So be careful, fingers and everything else. But blender wise, yeah, you can also stop it, and it would just take more time.
Right.
So we're going.
Oh, I hear that.
We got the high.
Full speed, Captain.
That got loud. All right.
Let's check our time. Oh, we're doing all right. 25 seconds.
Okay, so
Oh, it's delicious.
it's a little bit thin. But what I've been doing, and this is the part that I can't show you, but it's a little bit on the thinner side, pouring it in a glass dish. I actually had, did you bring me that? A glass dish, putting it in the freezer for like 30 minutes, and then just scooping it up like you have actual ice cream.
Nice.
Lovely.
I have my,
Hey, DJ.
so this is one that I froze earlier today that scoops up just like ice cream.
Nice.
And a finished dish.
Oh, let's get that really close. Let's see that. All right.
Yeah,
That's legit.
And it's not something you want to make your background, but I had my sweet tooth picky father try some today, and he was impressed. So
Nice.
about it.
Thank you for the vicarious bite. That's always a requirement of all the quarantine kitchen episodes. So thanks for.
I wasn't incredibly conscious, but you put ice cream in front of me in my hands. I'm just gonna.
So just 30 minutes and it gets to that consistency?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can leave it in there longer, but then you'll have to thaw it a bit before you scoop it. It doesn't have all the chemicals of like a store-bought ice cream that keep it at that perfect scoopable,
Right.
like the xanthan gum and the other things that they throw in there to keep it there, which I prefer. It's just a little more work, like everything that you make at home. A little more work.
Director of projects, I know you're very goal-oriented, and I'm pleased to tell you that you got it in just under the buzzer. So you completed the 5-minute challenge. So good job. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, I think this is actually the end of the show, but before we completely go away, I do want to announce this week's Buy Reverb a Beer winner is Bonnie Guzzi,
Bonnie.
who we actually know, and this is not an insider job. We
Nope.
selected it
No
random.
insider trading here.
Bonnie Guzzi used to live in the same
Apartment building
yeah.
that we lived in Portland years ago, like 12 years ago. Crazy town.
So congratulations,
So
Bonnie.
hi, Bonnie, if you're out there.
And thank you
Hope
to
things are
her.
well.
Thank you to her and everyone who's donated to Buy Reverb a
Yes.
Beer. If you want to donate and be entered to win this next round of prizing, go to reverb.org/beard. Wow, this is definitely the biggest infomercial episode of all time. Thanks again to Cliff Bar. As long as we're doing it, I'm going to go deep. Thanks to Cliff Bar. Thanks to Oxfam. Thanks to all the volunteers. Thanks. And because of this episode, really thank you to all of the Reverb staff. Laura and Chris, Paige and Lara, but also Carson and Tanner. Who else?
Hannah,
And Hannah.
who's
Hello.
running the whole show.
Yeah, Hannah
behind
is
the
actually.
scenes.
Can she show her face right now? Do you want to
Ooh,
say
that
hello,
would be
Hannah?
fun. Say hi, Hannah.
Can you say hello?
Is she gonna do it?
Yes.
Yay!
Hi.
Hannah's running this whole thing from behind the scenes. And
She's the real chef here.
She's our director of social media. So hi, Hannah.
She might be frozen.
No, I can't tell what's happening.
I don't know.
We're doing Dairy Queen.
Dairy
Oh,
Queen
no.
t-shirt.
That was interesting. The only technical problem is with Hannah. That's hilarious.
The irony is not lost on us.
No, it's perfect. Thanks again for everyone who's been watching. I don't know if we're trying to bring on all the. Yes, we are. We're going to try to bring on all the guests from this episode. Is Chris coming on? I don't know if we told him that we were going to try to do this at the end. So thanks again. We'll have Hannah instead. Hi.
Chris.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. Tune in. We have more special guests coming up. So just again, stay tuned on our social media. You can check it out on Facebook right here or any of our other social platforms. And again, if you want to go back, watch this episode and all the other ones. This is episode 14. We have 14 episodes at reverb.org/quarantine kitchen. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks to everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.